I'm really happy to be here, and getting to read with Victoria and Matt, and that this is a room full of wonderful-looking folks. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm reading a bunch of stuff, and some of it, maybe it's old, I guess. Some of it is will be from this book of mine that's coming out in April that centers a lot around suicide of a dear friend of mine and a destructive marriage. So just some light reading, but in a way, yeah, because it a lot of it deals with grief, but more how I think grief actually exists or should exist in us, that it's something that enters into our lives and doesn't necessarily leave, but isn't necessarily a bad, detrimental thing, but just allows us to navigate our way through this world. There's the first love poem I ever wrote was 23 years ago for this friend of mine, and a few years ago she posted this picture on Facebook of a lemon tree on her kitchen windowsill, and it said, this caption that said, "See the lemon tree I grew from a seed, how big you've gotten." And I thought, what a sweet and stupid sentiment, and proceeded to write poems, because that's what I feel life, like I said, circles around, that you've got like multiple things sitting inside of your hand at the same time, whether they are of sentiment nature or of stupid nature, of grief and sorrow or joy and happiness. Yeah. Because Travis asked for this. This is for the fat girls. This is for the little brothers. This is for the schoolyard wimps and for the childhood bullies that tormented them. For the former prom queens and for the milk crate ball players, for the nighttime cereal eaters, and for the retired elderly Walmart store front door greeters. Shake the dust. This is for the benches and the people sitting upon them. For the bus drivers driving a million broken hymns, for the men who have to hold down 3 jobs simply to hold up their children, for the nighttime schoolers, and for the midnight bike riders trying to fly. Shake the dust. This is for the 2-year-olds who cannot be understood because they speak half English and half God. Shake the dust. For the boys with the beautiful sisters. Shake the dust. For the girls with the brothers who are going crazy, the ones who are going out of their minds. For the gym class wallflowers and the 12-year-olds afraid of taking public showers. For the kid that's always late to class because they forget the combination to their lockers. For the girl who loves somebody else. Shake the dust. This is for the hard men who want love but know that it won't come. The ones who are forgotten. The ones the amendments do not stand up for the ones who are told speak only when you are spoken to, and then are never spoken to. Speak every time you stand so you do not forget yourself. Do not forget yourself. Do not let one moment go by that doesn't remind you that our hearts beat thousands of times every single day, and that there are enough gallons of blood to make every one of you oceans. Do not settle for letting these waves settle, and for the dust to collect in your veins. This is for the celibate pedophile who keeps on struggling, for the poetry teachers, and for the people who go on vacations alone, for the sweat that drips of a Mick Jagger singing lips, and for the shaking skirt on Tina Turner's shaking hips, for the heavens and for the hells through which Tina has somehow lived. This is for the tired and for the dreamers, for those families that will never be like the Cleavers with perfectly made dinners and sons like Wally and the Beaver. This is for the bigots, for the sexists, for the killers, for the big house jail sentence cats becoming redeemers, and for the springtime that always seems to know to show up after every one of our winters. This is for you. Make sure that by the time the fisherman returns, you are gone. Because just like the days, I burn at both ends. And every time I write, every time I open my eyes, I'm cutting out parts of myself just to give them to you. So shake the dust and take me with you when you do, for this isn't for me. All that pushes and pulls, it pushes for you. So grab this world by its clothespins and shake it out again and again and jump on top and take it for a spin. And when you hop off, shake it again, for this is yours. Make my words worth something. Make this more than just another poem that I write, more than just another poem, like just another night that sits heavy above every one of us. Walk into it. Breathe it in. Let it crash through the halls of your arms like the millions of years of millions of poets coursing like blood, pumping and pushing, making you live, shaking the dust so when the world knocks at your front door, you clutch the knob tightly, but then you open on up and you run forward as far as you must, as fast as you can, into its widespread greeting arms with your hands outstretched before you, fingertips trembling, though they may be. Thank you. Bear with me while I dig up this poem. Friday night, eating tortas with Chris, cleaning shelves in the hallway closet, making beats, biking to bookshops to listen the wind of its books, the night as we pass through one another. My kingdom for a castle of purpose. Saturday morning at the Turrets, wrote poems, ate sandwiches from a butcher shop, the company of a sweet lady and her wild daughter, sat at a place named Poets Beach. It is on the Gray River, under an overpass, rocks pushed out of the dirt to make a space, like all good poets. Went wading in its wet mud, read Mark Strand and Robert Bly into the hair of a person I would like to bury my body under, jumped off the dock with one of my other brothers, watched a fountain erupt with children not yet folded over by childhood's departure, took a bite of a 4-year-old's ice cream cone, sprinkles of a rainbow stuck in my teeth, ate pie on the front lawn, a slice sliced 3 ways in the blackberries fat, then showered and lay alone and unclothed reading Roger Reeves and falling asleep beneath a stack of Archie comics. Woke, and from my staircase window saw moon behind the black fur, bright as a frozen lake under a blue night. And waking with a hunger breaking, ate cantaloupe, crisp and with blueberries and root beer, and sat above the black and felt myself continue on its quest to become paper. Been 2 years now since clutching the ball of rags my heart in Texas had been torn into, and terrified to leave, but more terrified of dying, I broke bread with 2 best friends and flew north. Been at the loom ever since, knees in the dirt, body in the dirt, seeking the submerge, a ring of bodies surrounding us, killed for their young darkness, weaving beautiful on the quietest of weekends, unsure how to begin. I only fear endings for the dread of starting over. Your hands offered themselves open, saying, place that which has been tired of traveling softly here. I wish my heart, a smile from flowers, a creaking from weight, stepping on the ice to make sense as it has at times. I want the morning, some days, to be shared in the way it might be shared with one who has traveled the hills of sleep, all while the journey has been taken beside another in the night. And maybe all I wish is actually the want, or the want of the wrist of another, to have once more another to call me by my other name, home, yet with no longing in the want. Ish say Sunday is my rope, and when waking today to different light than August and July and even September's past, and to a different bird than the crows who I swear know my voice, I hear the truck across the street that has sat silent and unmoving for more than a year, its sides caked with the dirt of 16-month stillness, and of which just last night I said to another person's softness, I wonder if that truck runs and if its owner would sell. And having never heard its voice before this morning, I hear it sputter, hood up like the way we wore ours all spring the year Trayvon was killed, and trying to start again. after Jordan Edwards. Out of the soft and approaching night, may we unfold our gentlest selves, coming to dusk with honey and mint in my mouth, something left behind their heart for me to find on my walk today, tiny and purring. And at eve's soft hearkening upon my still knuckles, always a ghost of a sparrow finds the cups of my grace, or me a sparrow inside the ghost's cupped hands. Last night it looked like the street was on fire. Saturday's flowers work hard for a living. They wait for me outside my front door. Every morning, even in the rain, and again in the evening, even in the dark, in the dream, we were lions. And so none of that which was lion could eat us. And in another dream, we were lions, and that which was not lion didn't hunt us. And in another dream, we were lions, and so beautiful, in all the dreams. And when we were awake too, even in the rain, and again in the evening, and again in the dark. Hand clap in my blood, my sister's heart, pregnant with love, like our mother always growing flowers in the rain. How hard she has learned to move easily through this world. When I dream my brother, I dream him always 7 years old. There's a Cossack in my chest that sometimes drinks down his own sorrow, sometimes by himself, sometimes loudly. The Cossack drowns himself until the angel in him sings. There are stories, and then there is what is below. All that is light in me falls and thunders its way out. Everything dark lightly approaches. There is a black bowl of warm black held in my hands. I drink it happily, alone. Sometimes when others walk past, I still wonder if I can. Sometimes when others walk past, I slurp louder that they may know of what it is I swallow. May my father be given the softest bed. May his most perfect music always sing his most perfect smile, warm the outside of his gentlest mouth. May my mother always be. There are coffins in me, built only from orange trees. May my graveyards learn from both. All the dogs in me talk through the moon to the dogs in you. I've met young ones I wished were my daughters. May their always hearts always be black umbrellas turned inside out, catching the sun. May we all stop breaking ourselves to hear our songs. May we all stop breaking others simply to have a sound to dance to. If my boat is body, the bow smiles backwards at where it once was. The stern seeks to see the approaching horizon. The hull, my heart, filled with silk dresses. If you see me walk past with one shoulder higher than the other, my starboard hand is filling my left with stars. When my body was a boat, with the boat of my body wished was to carry itself home to those who knew me but were gone. If my body is a boat, all it wishes is to carry dresses of silk for those who I have loved. All of me always wishes to always carry over every sea, through every night, bolts and bolts of shining and yellow fabric magically spun out of some distant land and journeyed back to the place that desires to have known my face. So I have a few more for y'all. Thanks so much. So this is a poem titled Today's Love is brought to you by the letter John Sands. And John Sands is a poet who lives in Brooklyn but is from Ohio. And John writes these poems that when he shares them, he makes me feel as if I could pay my rent with a super badass series of high fives to my landlord, or simply by sharing with him a brand new dance move. And so after I wrote this poem, there was something about it that felt like it was perhaps written under the shade of a John Sands tree. High five me with your heart. 1,000 me with your hearts. I know you have many of them. We all love many things. I love biscuits. I love little pancakes. I love cheeseburgers. I've loved more than just things that I chew with my mouth. I did love my wife. Sometimes I would chew my wife's shoulder in my mouth. Sometimes my wife, she was annoyed by this. But still, sometimes my wife did love me back. Some things that I've loved will never love me back. Random racist man upon the street. While your rhetoric may anger me, I still have love for you, though you probably will not love me back. Walrus, I love you. Though were I to be around you, you would probably gore me with your tusks. Perhaps this is not a good example, as the wild unknowing of wild creatures is not necessarily the same as not loving something back. Perhaps also because I actually do not love the walrus, but simply mention him here because there's a small figurine of a walrus on the coffee table as I write this poem. However, I do love the elephant. However, he too would probably gore me with his tusks. Again, not out of unlove, but perhaps fear. I do not love fear, but I respect him, in that he loves me, testing how well I carry the sword of my intent through the land of the Midnight Farm. The land of the Midnight Farm, it is a strange and scary place. There are perhaps serial killers and or possums lurking inside its darkness. The serial killer may love me, but in no way I wish to be loved. Their love may involve the removal of my skin and the wearing of it out to the club. The possum may love me, but I do not love the possum. In fact, I hate the possum solely because of how ugly I find the possum to be. Yes, I realize this is a shallow reason to dislike something. So I'm trying, possum. I'm trying to not love you so much. Instead, possibly just be ambivalent to your existence. But oh, I want to hate you like I hate the thought of bee stings, black people, and beans. I put black people on there just to see if y'all were paying attention. I fucking love black people. I fucking love white people. Though sometimes I find both of them to be trifling. Don't get me wrong. The only mother that I've ever had is black. The only wife that I've ever had is white. But damn, if we humans are a trifling animal at times, but still, I love you, you mountains of trifle and futility, of perseverance and lightness, of incessant rowing towards the sun, even while facing it, wondering why there is no forward momentum. Turn around. Look at my many hands, holding up my many hearts and a many high-five salutation to you, Nina Simone, Paul Newman. So many things in this world I've loved. Rising with the sun, sleeping in late, little pancakes. And even though they didn't turn around once when she got gone, my wife's shoulders. Oh, lemon tree, I grew from a seed. How big you have gotten. You were so little when you were a seed, and now so big. And soon you will carry such round and lovely lemons. When they grow too big for your thin branches and they leave this kitchen of mine, ask them not to forget it, this kitchen of ours. It is my favorite room in the house. And lemon tree, when you pick up to follow, please do think of me. I will think of you. Here, when my hands are far too empty, and my tongue is far too sweet, I will think of the quiet poem that was your shape. Lemon tree. Please, bring a scarf with you. Wherever you end up, it may be cold. This is my last poem. Thank you, Travis, for inviting me and having me get the pleasure to read with these two wonderful folks, with all these great people in this room. Yeah. When you're in your coffin, clanging down the river with all the other coffins, in the water of the next world, all of them bumping and jostling against one another, the contents thrown about like riding in a small plane, you peek your head up to see what the racket is. You'll see the other coffins. Looking around, you'll see nothing but coffins and river and two banks distantly flanking that river. And the biggest, tallest dark stretching above. So dark it feels like this place, big as it is, wherever it is, must be inside of some sort of bigger something. There are still stars. Wherever this river is, you can still see stars. And while looking around, you'll see that there are some other heads peeking out of their coffins. You yell across the dark, asking, "You know where we are?" And someone will answer back, "Nope." "You?" "No," you say back. You ask somebody else, "What about you?" "Nope. I wonder where this is." And someone else will say, "I don't know. It's big." "Yeah, big. Yeah, so big it's vast." And depending on what part of the river you're in, someone else may then say, "Yeah, vast like Sean Brown's backside." And even though nobody on the river knows who Sean Brown is, everyone will laugh. The chuckles will subside until a quiet sets in over the laughter, a quiet like you sat in somebody else's church, like it's strange and it ain't for you, or you don't get it, but maybe you can see that somebody does, and that it's for them or for some people who, like you, are just trying to house some sense of the world. So you lean into that understanding with respect, if not for the outcome, at least for that desire to make a place special for finding the understanding. And that's where the quiet comes from. Someone will then ask someone else, "Where are you from?" And they will say, "Texas." "What about you?" "Boston." "Boston?" "Yeah, Boston. I know someone from Boston. Kate Lee. You know her?" "No." "What about Stephen Ellis?" "Nah, I'm actually in Somerville." "Somerville?" "Yeah, Somerville." And someone else will then yell out, "Somerville? I know someone in Somerville." "Who do you know in Somerville?" "Michael Cathcart." "Know him?" "Yeah, I do actually. I do know him." "Oh man, small world. Yeah, Mikey's a great guy. He is. I hadn't seen him in 10 years, and when I did, he handed me a first edition of an E.E. Cummings book. Great guy." And the first person won't know who E.E. Cummings is, but will still agree that Mikey is a great guy. And then it will get quiet again, until someone else asks, "Where are we?" And no one will answer. A few people shrug. All of you will look into the stars that are collecting in the distance over you. You'll try to think of someone you might know that lives in Somerville, or Texas, or Florida, or France, just to have something to talk about with a person you never met before just right now. Just to share something in the dark quiet, even though all of you are already sharing the river and the sound of the current bumping all of you into one another. And you'll wonder where the water is taking you, and how long it'll be before it brings you there, and what there will be like. If it'll be like here on the river, with all of us sitting in our boxes, trying to split the dark by sharing our voices with others. If it'll be like how it was in the world before this one. Thank you.